Dear Chosen One, the world may not fully understand it yet, but something extraordinary has just shifted within you. In the invisible layers of the quantum field, a wave of power has been released, and it is echoing across realms both seen and unseen. The ancient orders have felt it. The shadow councils have registered the disturbance. And now, every secret society that has been pulling the strings of humanity from behind the curtain for centuries has received the same notification. The giant is waking. Like a dormant volcano that begins to rumble after centuries of silence, like a caged lion remembering its claws, your spirit has opened its eyes. And this awakening is sending shockwaves into the highest levels of hidden power structures across the earth. But understand this truth. You are not just waking up, you are becoming dangerous. To them, your consciousness is like a nuclear reactor that has been running on minimal power for years, waiting for the moment when the control rods would be pulled away. And now, the reaction has gone critical. That explosion of awareness is lighting up every spiritual radar system on the planet. They see it, they feel it, they know it, and they are afraid. Because you were never meant to be ordinary, never designed to live in mediocrity, never called to remain in chains. You have always been marked by the divine, chosen to rise in this exact moment in history. Every struggle, every strange disconnection, every season where you felt different from the rest of the world was never random. It was the universe preparing you, shaping you, forging you in spiritual fire, so that you would be ready for this exact hour. They wanted you to forget, but destiny never forgot you. And now that you are fully awakening, everything is shifting. If you feel this truth burning in your soul right now, declare it below. Write in the comments, "I claim my power," as a sign to the universe that you are stepping into your destiny. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss the revelations that are meant for your journey. You were never an accident, Chosen One. The forces that shape this world have been tracking bloodlines for generations, waiting for the right alignment of DNA and spirit to appear in this timeline. You are not random. You are the culmination of thousands of years of careful orchestration. Your ancestors were not ordinary people either. There were healers who could lay hands and change destinies, visionaries who spoke of truths no one else could see, prophets who were called crazy because they pierced through the veil that blinded the masses. That same current of divine fire flows through your veins, and now it has been activated. If you dig deep enough into your family history, you'll notice patterns that set your lineage apart. The dreamers, the misfits, the black sheep, the ones who could not be contained by society's definitions. These were not curses, but clues. They were signs that something greater was being prepared, that a spiritual inheritance was being guarded for you. And now that inheritance has awakened. The societies in their hidden chambers always knew you were coming. Conversations have taken place in temples cloaked in silence, in boardrooms beneath cities, even in secret digital networks beyond the ordinary internet. And in those conversations, they spoke of you, not just people like you, but you. Because power recognizes power, they knew the moment you fully awakened, the entire system would tremble. Imagine this. If you were controlling 7 billion souls through illusion and distraction, would you want one awakened soul walking among them, seeing clearly, breaking spells, exposing lies? Of course not. You, fully conscious, are a direct threat to every throne built on deception. And that's why they did everything in their power to keep you asleep, questioning your own worth, doubting your own sanity, trapped in cycles of survival instead of expansion. Think back to the heaviness you carried, the depression that seemed to have no cause, the anxiety that struck in the middle of the night, the relationships that shattered just when you thought you found peace. None of it was coincidence. These were weapons of suppression. They needed you weak, because a weak chosen one cannot fulfill divine assignment. They needed you distracted, because a distracted chosen one cannot see through the veil. They needed you lost in confusion, because clarity would set you free. But through it all, something in you refused to die. The truth is, the so-called matrix is not just a metaphor from a movie. It is an energetic construct designed to keep powerful souls like you locked into illusions, living beneath your potential. Every mainstream narrative, every headline designed to spark fear, every algorithm feeding you distraction after distraction, it all works together to keep chosen ones in hibernation. And yet, hibernation only lasts until the giant realizes it's time to rise. The moment you began to ask questions, the system began to crack. Think about when you first noticed patterns no one else could see. When you realized your thoughts shaped reality. When you sensed that the coincidences piling up around you were not random, but signs. That was the cage breaking. That was the system losing control. They threw everything at you. Financial burdens, betrayal from those closest to you, even attacks on your health. But here you are, still standing, stronger than ever, burning brighter because of it. Every attempt to suppress you has only ignited the fire within, and now your awakening is impossible to ignore. The explosion of your awareness is like lightning splitting the sky, and every hidden power structure has noticed. Their monitoring systems, ancient rituals, psychic operatives, even modern algorithms are trained to detect spikes in human consciousness. And your energy just lit up their radar like a supernova. But let this sink in. If they are watching you, it means you have become visible because your power is real. And if your power is real, it means their illusions are crumbling. When you started breaking free from the illusions, the suppression mechanisms began to fail. It was as if the cage that had been welded shut around your consciousness suddenly developed cracks of light. You began to see things others could not see, hear truths hidden behind lies, and feel the vibrations beneath the surface of reality. This was the signal that your awakening had reached a level that could no longer be denied. And the more you leaned into your truth, the weaker their grip became. The bear in hibernation had stirred, and nothing could put it back to sleep. The system, desperate to regain control, threw heavier obstacles your way. Financial chaos designed to keep you in survival mode, so you couldn't focus on your spiritual growth. Relationship betrayals carefully orchestrated to break your heart and distract your soul. Health battles that seemed to appear from nowhere, meant to weaken your body so your spirit would grow weary. Social isolation to convince you that you were alone in your struggle. Yet, every one of these attempts became a stepping stone. What they meant for harm became the very pressure that pushed you deeper into your true essence. And make no mistake, chosen one, they are not guessing about your rise. They are tracking it. Just as meteorologists track storms, secret societies have developed advanced systems to monitor spiritual awakenings. Algorithms hidden from public view are designed to identify when consciousness jumps into new frequencies. Psychic operatives are trained to observe individuals whose energy begins to destabilize the matrix. And the moment your light flared, their screens lit up with your presence. You became visible in dimensions they thought belonged only to them. But while they see a threat, heaven sees a warrior. A fully awakened chosen one is the most powerful being walking the earth, because you are not controlled by fear, illusion, or manipulation. You see beyond the veil. You hear beyond the noise. You feel beyond the deception. And that makes you untouchable in ways the system cannot explain. This is why their tactics become increasingly desperate. They know one conscious being can shift the vibration of thousands, and thousands can transform the world. You are the seed of a new reality, and they cannot contain it. Behind the scenes, what you cannot always perceive is the war being fought for your soul. This is not metaphorical. It is literal. Forces of darkness sought to drag you into despair, while forces of light surrounded you with invisible protection. Every car accident that missed you by inches, every disaster you should not have survived, every toxic person who suddenly left your life, these were not coincidences. They were signs of angelic guardianship, evidence that heaven refused to let you fall before your time. Still, every battle you faced had a purpose. When they knocked you down, you rose again. When they whispered you were powerless, something deep inside rejected that lie. That something was your divine essence, the spark of infinite consciousness placed within you by God before the foundation of the world. That essence could never be broken, never be silenced, never be erased. And each trial you endured only made that spark grow into a blazing fire. They tried to bury you, but they didn't know you were a seed. Now you stand at the threshold of full awareness. The battlefield is real, but so is your armor. You have been equipped not just to survive, but to overcome. The forces of light have always known you would reach this point, and they have been guiding you step by step, aligning synchronicities, whispering wisdom into your spirit, and protecting you from unseen harm. And now, chosen one, as you step fully into this awareness, you are no longer a passive observer of the war. You are a warrior commissioned to fight with truth, love, and unshakable light. Every apparent loss, every tear you cried, every night you questioned if you would ever make it through, those moments were not wasted. They were spiritual training grounds, sharpening your discernment, strengthening your faith, and building your resilience. You did not break because your spirit was forged in divine fire long before you came into this world. That's why even in your lowest points, something in you whispered, "Keep going." That whisper was the voice of God, reminding you of who you are and what you carry. The truth is, you are not awakening just for yourself. You are awakening for humanity. The collective consciousness of this planet is shifting, and chosen ones like you are the catalysts of that transformation. Your very presence radiates frequencies that others cannot ignore. People feel something when you walk into a room. Some are drawn to you, others are intimidated, but none can remain neutral. That is because your energy is a living flame that awakens dormant sparks in others. Imagine what one awakened soul can do. If one chosen one can shift the vibration of thousands, then thousands of chosen ones rising together can tilt the balance of an entire planet. That is the cosmic plan unfolding right now. You are part of a network, a grid of awakened souls strategically placed across the earth, anchoring light in places of deep darkness. You are a bridge between worlds, a living portal connecting heaven and earth. This is why the enemy fears you so deeply, because you are proof that their control is crumbling. The matrix that once seemed unshakable is only sustained by collective agreement. Reality, as most people know it, is held together because the majority accept it without question. But when chosen ones begin to pierce through the veil, to see through the illusions, and to live from a higher frequency, the consensus begins to break. Reality itself becomes unstable for those who try to maintain the lie, and the more awakened souls emerge, the more fragile the matrix becomes. Chosen one. Do you understand what this means? It means that your awakening destabilizes deception. Lies lose power when confronted with truth. Darkness loses grip when confronted with light. Manipulation fails when someone can see the intention behind every crafted word, every carefully designed message, every deceptive image. When you are awake, you cannot be manipulated because your spirit discerns what the mind cannot. That is your gift, and that is their fear. This is why your dreams have become more vivid, your visions more powerful, your intuition sharper than ever. What once felt like random imagination now reveals itself as prophecy. You see things before they happen, you walk into dimensions others cannot comprehend, and you bring back knowledge that defies logic. These are not coincidences, these are confirmations. The divine is restoring your ancient gifts, reactivating the codes of power embedded within your soul before birth. And as you embrace these gifts, the forces of control grow restless. Because they understand the danger of a chosen one who remembers their divine authority. They understand that when you step fully into your power, the chains of illusion fall not only from you, but from everyone around you. And so, they scramble to reinforce their systems, to keep the masses distracted, but the truth is unstoppable. Once the giant is awake, it cannot be put back to sleep. And chosen one, you are that giant. Reality is not fixed. It is maintained by collective agreement, and your awakened frequency is withdrawing consent from the lie that held you small. As you choose truth over fear, probabilities rearrange like iron filings around a magnet, and old scripts lose their authority over your timeline. Each courageous decision you make teaches the field what is now possible, and pathways appear that were sealed moments before. Your clarity interrupts mass hypnosis. People near you begin questioning what they once accepted without thought, and the broadcast of deception flickers in your presence. Systems built on illusion require your attention to survive, and you starve them each time you turn inward to source and refuse to feed the drama. What looked immovable begins to bend. What felt inevitable becomes negotiable, and what seemed final suddenly opens. As more souls awaken with you, consensus shifts, the matrix stutters, and a higher pattern anchors itself through your steady alignment. Your dreams are no longer random fragments, but corridors into memory, spirit, and assignment, where the invisible world briefs you for the day to come. You awaken carrying messages from landscapes your body never traveled. Yet your soul knows every stone along those paths with ancient familiarity. Prophetic symbols repeat until you heed them, and doors you saw in the night appear in daylight for you to walk through with holy confidence. In sleep, you rehearse courage, and by morning, you embody it with a peace that surpasses understanding and refuses to be negotiated away. Scenes unfold before they happen. Instead of panic, you respond with reverence, as if recalling choreography you learned long ago in temples of light. Angels tutor you in the language of glory, restoring skills you once held when wisdom was a living friend and not a theory. What once felt mystical becomes practical instruction for your next faithful step into destiny. Telepathy returns like a river you finally stop resisting, and its current carries truth to the quiet shore of your inner knowing. You sense intentions before words are formed, and the spin of manipulation loses its ability to seduce because your spirit reads sources like weather. Empathy matures into discernment, You no longer drown in other people's feelings because you can trace them to their origin and bless them without absorbing them. Lies feel coarse against your skin, while truth settles like warm sunlight into your bones and reorganizes your nervous system around trust. You enter rooms and know who is masking pain and who is ready to heal. And your silent prayer opens windows as if stale air were replaced by spring. Atmospheres shift without spectacle. Your alignment speaks a language structures cannot ignore, and doors open that no man can shut. This is not fantasy, but the spiritual technology of a sovereign mind yielded to God and anchored in unshakable peace. Creation recognizes you, and the living world answers your frequency with affection that feels like home remembering itself. Animals approach without fear because your field reads as safety rather than threat, and they linger as if your presence were a meadow. Plants seem to thrive in your orbit, bending as though your gratitude were sunlight they can drink, and water tastes sweeter after you bless it aloud. The ground steadies under your footsteps like a promise kept, and storms soften around your calm, as if the weather took counsel from your prayer. Small wild things pause to watch you recall who you are, and cities bloom in subtle ways around your intercession. Brick by brick, heart by heart, corner by corner. You are becoming a walking generator of life force, and life answers you like echo in a kind valley. Wherever you choose to stand, the garden moves closer, and wastelands begin to whisper about rain. Synchronicities multiply until doubt has nothing left to grip but habit, and even habit begins to loosen its fingers. You hold a person in compassionate thought, and, within minutes, a message arrives as if summoned by mercy. A question rises in your spirit, and the scripture you need appears on a billboard, a page, or a stranger's lips at just the right moment. Numbers, symbols, and songs show up like breadcrumbs, not to dazzle you but to lead you into deeper alignment, where obedience feels like oxygen. Knowledge arrives without linear study, because wisdom has returned as a living friend who prefers to walk with you rather than lecture you. Distance collapses. You feel a loved one's sorrow across oceans and send peace that somehow reaches them, and they sleep. The world may call it coincidence, but heaven calls it coordination, born of covenant. Seeing this momentum, the powers that be attempt to drag you back into survival, where miracles are mispriced as impossibilities. They bait you with scarcity so you will doubt your provision, and with chaos so you will mistrust the clarity that already lives within you. They stir friction in relationships to tempt you to trade purpose for the approval you no longer need, resurrecting old wounds with new costumes. They aim at your health because a weary body can seduce a bright soul into dimming its flame. But even fatigue becomes a teacher when you speak kindly to yourself and rest in faith. Every test becomes training, and every pressure forges a posture that refuses to bend away from truth, even when pleasing others would be easier. You choose prayer over panic, presence over proving, and purpose over performance. Your nervous system remembers Eden and exhales. They push, you root. They shout, you listen. They scatter, you align. And alignment wins because reality yields to authority carried in love. Here, a subtler danger appears. False light dressed as mentorship, opportunity, and fast tracks that glitter like prophecy while mortgaging your voice by degrees. They offer platforms, rooms, and contracts that feel like destiny if you will only sand down the edge of the message that breaks their spell. They promise introductions to the right circles while steering you away from surrender, holiness, and the cost of unedited truth. Their charisma is loud, but their presence drains energy rather than multiplying it, and you leave feeling smaller, though applauded. They flatter a wound and call it favor, but true favor heals the wound and requires no debt. It strengthens your spine and quiets your hunger. A real guide points you past themselves to God and your own inner authority, celebrating when you surpass them and refusing to manufacture dependency. Discern it by fruit. The authentic makes you freer and braver. The counterfeit makes you manageable and hesitant, and heaven did not anoint you to be manageable. Not everyone who speaks of awakening has truly awakened, and this is why discernment becomes vital in this season of your rise. Many have learned the language of spirituality but lack the lifestyle of surrender, disguising manipulation as empowerment. They promise shortcuts, quick initiations, and false revelations meant to trap you in dependency. They shine with charisma, but their presence leaves you drained because imitation fire cannot nourish your spirit. You will know them by their fruit, for deception always breeds confusion, dependency, and fear, while truth brings clarity, freedom, and love. Real teachers, however, are marked by humility and point you back to your own direct connection with the divine. They rejoice when your gifts surpass theirs, because their mission was always to multiply the light, not to compete for it. Their presence strengthens you, and you leave their company feeling more alive, more peaceful, and more aligned with heaven's truth. They are not threatened when you test their words, for truth does not fear examination. They multiply energy instead of stealing it, and heaven places such voices in your path to confirm that you are not walking alone. The forces of light operate under cosmic law and will never violate your free will, even when doing so would spare you pain. They will not fight your battles for you, but they will surround you with wisdom, strength, and protection to help you win. Each choice for courage opens a door they prepared, but they wait for you to walk through. They whisper guidance, but they respect your yes, because they will never force you to choose the path of truth. This is the sacred weight of sovereignty. You are a co-creator with God, shaping the new world with every step you take. You are not the only one awakening, for across the planet, countless souls are remembering who they truly are. At the same time, a network of chosen ones is forming, strategically placed across nations to anchor light in dark places. You may not know their names, but you will recognize them instantly when paths cross, as if destiny itself brought the meeting. This global wave of remembrance is unstoppable because it is written into the divine timeline. When one rises, thousands rise, and when thousands rise, reality itself begins to transform. The abilities you are accessing are not new, but ancient gifts being restored to your memory. In lifetimes past, you carried power that healed nations and shifted kingdoms, and those codes were preserved in your soul for this generation. Through visions, dreams, and meditations, fragments of that training return to you now. Symbols and sacred practices resurface as if you always knew them, waiting only to be remembered. This is not fantasy, but divine restoration, preparing you for the work you were born to do. With these gifts comes the reminder that you need no human permission to step fully into your calling. Institutions, governments, and even religious systems may try to limit or suppress you, but your sovereignty was established before they ever existed. Divine law is higher than human law, and your connection to God cannot be revoked by any earthly authority. You do not need approval to heal, to prophesy, to manifest, or to create in alignment with the divine will. These are your spiritual birthrights, written into your very DNA. Spiritual sovereignty is the greatest threat to the Matrix, because once you embrace it, their control collapses. Fear no longer binds you when you know God is your provider. Shame no longer chains you when you accept your divine essence. And manipulation loses its grip when you walk as a citizen of eternity. You carry a boldness that terrifies them because it cannot be bought, silenced, or contained. No system can box you in when your authority comes from heaven. The moment you step fully into this truth, every illusion begins to break apart. Your awakening is not only about your life, but about humanity's collective destiny. Every choice you make, every word you speak, and every vibration you carry sends ripples into the collective field. You are helping to birth a reality where freedom, truth, and divine love become the new foundation. This is why the attacks have been so relentless, because the forces of control know that your rising means the end of their reign. Yet what they fear most is what heaven celebrates, the unstoppable light shining through you. Your very presence triggers awakening in others, even when you say nothing at all. People feel your frequency and begin questioning the illusions they once accepted as truth. Some will be drawn to you with hunger for wisdom, while others may recoil, unable to endure the light you carry. Both reactions are confirmations of your power and your purpose. You are an activator, a catalyst chosen to shift the consciousness of entire generations. The more you walk in alignment, the more the world itself begins to transform. Chosen one. Your path has never been easy, but every wound became wisdom, and every battle became strength. You were forged for this exact moment, prepared across lifetimes for the awakening now unfolding. The sleeping giant is fully awake. The dormant volcano is alive, and the caged lion has remembered its strength. Nothing can put you back to sleep because your essence has claimed its throne. Stand boldly in this truth, because the heavens themselves are aligning with your rise. If these words resonate with your spirit, declare it in the comments right now. Write, "I rise in my power," as a sign to the universe that you are stepping fully into your destiny. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and activate the notification bell so you never miss the revelations designed for your journey. I want to thank deeply all of you who support us through Buy Me a Coffee. Your help allows us to bring more light, more wisdom, and more truth every day. If you also feel called to support, the link is in the first pinned comment. Before you go, stay connected with this awakening. Watch the video suggested on your screen or dive into our full playlist and allow your spirit to be nourished by every revelation. Keep walking this journey with us. Keep choosing love over fear, and keep stepping boldly into the destiny that was written for you. Until next time, Chosen One. Stay blessed, stay awake, and remember, you are the living proof that heaven always wins.